not gonna go all PG on me, all right? So I know we've had our moment where we kind of talked about my stance on guns and your kind of elusive stance on guns. Because usually you don't even want to talk about it with me.
You think guns are sexy, so I just feel like we have a completely different viewpoint. Like,
I really do, though.
Okay.
So as far as me thinking guns are sexy, what is your biggest problem with that?
What is sexy about a gun? Like, it's heavy, it's cold, it's metal.
I'm
That's
taking
not
a projectile
sexy.
and I'm launching it hundreds and hundreds of feet, faster than the speed of sound, at a target probably this big.
That's not sexy. Maybe cool.
So, besides me finding guns sexy, what about just in general the gun culture that kind of gives you the most pause?
I've already told you that basically to me, and I can answer your question before you ask it, no one, unless you're a military or a police officer, needs to have that type of rifle.
Are you denying that here, us in Dallas right now, that we're completely and totally, completely safe?
I'm not saying we're totally safe.
You're implying that with your comment.
Of course I'm not. I'm implying that the means of protecting yourself doesn't necessarily have to be this massive gun.
So I have to understand, so you don't believe that there's any other reason, there's no reason to own guns?
Besides your protection.
Okay, that's what I was asking. So when I asked you, why do you feel people own guns?
For protection. That's what everyone says.
Okay. But you don't necessarily believe that?
Not necessarily.
Why?
Because I don't, like I said, I don't see anyone pulling out a gun to protect themselves. Like, people...
So if I were to show you, let's say right now I had an iPad right now, and I went online and I Googled citizen stops crime with gun, or somebody protects themselves with gun, or somebody protects themselves from a home invasion with a gun, what would you have to say to that?
And how many of those cases do you see?
There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them.
And how many cases do you see people escalating situations with a handgun, whether it be an actual shooting or them just having it and it adding to the situation to escalate it more than it needs to be?
Never deny that happens. So I guess...
It's the balance of it. That's my thing. And so I think that...
So what kind of balance should we have, though? Because from what I'm hearing with you, left to your own devices, you'd get rid of them altogether, correct?
I wouldn't get rid of all of them.
Okay.
I would limit the number you could have.
But you just said you don't see why we need them.
I specifically said the big machine guns, like all those rifles, something that can like pierce the skin of a rhino. What rhino are you shooting at, friend? My issue is with the stockpiling of massive amounts of guns.
Okay.
Why do you have so many?
Is it just the stockpiling, or is it just that they have the rifles, or is it just that you don't feel that they need to have guns, period?
It's all of it. It's all tied into each other.
Let's take it, but then you ask the question, well, then why do you need a rifle?
Yes.
Well, because in the scheme of things, you're asking that question because you believe that the rifle is unnecessarily powerful. But if I have a gun because it's the most effective means to protect myself, why not have the most effective gun to use to protect myself?
Is that the most effective gun? Is it, or is it just a matter of it being larger? Is it a matter of it being your personal preference?
A lot of it depends on situations, right?
So my thing is, I think that dead is dead either way. And so if you're using a gun, you're gonna kill them either way.
So then why make the distinction between whether somebody should have a pistol or a rifle? You have a problem with assault rifles, don't you?
I have a problem with people in general having large numbers of guns. No one needs to have these assault rifles unless they are in specific situations where they are warranted, such as...
So if I've
let me finish.
Hold on.
Such as...
Hold on. We have to establish what is considered warranted.
Okay.
So do you have a problem with somebody owning multiple cars?
No.
So
how much more dangerous is a car than a gun?
They're responsible for killing way more people than they do guns. Are you really?
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
The number of people who die as a result of car accidents, diving accidents, they're more than people.
And it's as a result of the people, correct?
So let me ask you this one question.
Okay.
Why not restrict the people from owning only one car? Why don't you say we should only own one car?
Because it's not the number of cars that causes the problem, it's the individual in the car. But what happens when...
How is it that the number of guns...
Because when I can go out and buy 15 guns, I can give those guns to you. Everybody gets a gun. I'm Oprah with the guns.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
I have a number of guns. I have a shit ton of guns, right? What problems am I creating?
I'm not...
Hold on. What problems am I creating?
You gonna stop holding on to me.
Because you're not answering the question I'm asking.
Okay, my turn?
Yeah.
So you're saying that the best way to protect yourself from this is with a gun. So the best way to protect yourself from some random man walking into your house unarmed is with a gun.
In that particular situation, if he's unarmed, I don't know, it depends. If I'm in the house by myself.
Okay, let me finish. No. So we're saying that there's some room for ambiguity, right?
In terms of what?
In terms of whether the gun is the best way to protect yourself. Are they there to cause you? Because at the end of the day, when you pull out a gun.
Are you telling me it's unreasonable to assume that it's...
Hold on. When you... At the end of the day, if you're pulling out a gun, the purpose of it is to cause serious physical harm, right?
No. That's not the case. It's not, because you're not accounting for all of the various uses that people have for guns. That's the problem.
Okay, what other use do you have?
You have a very myopic understanding of why people own guns, right? So, like I said at the very beginning, right? We have our contentions about
very different viewpoints,
certain aspects of this right, and we'll continue to have them as the time goes on. But considering all of that, at this point, just taking into account everything that I've done, I don't know if you've been paying attention to anything that I've been doing.
Of course I have. I've actually gotten a chance. I checked out some of the previous episodes, seen you guys do when you run around like crazy people. It's like paintball, but with real guns.
Oh, you gotta run around like crazy people?
Well, it's just you. Oh. Everyone else is perfectly safe. It's just you. Yeah, but I mean, it looks interesting. So I do appreciate the perspective of it being a lifestyle, and obviously not necessarily, you know, a bad person. Only bad people own guns. I wouldn't, you know, expect that. I think you're underneath, deep down, you're probably okay, maybe. But yeah, the lifestyle aspect of it is interesting. And I respect your views, and I respect everything that you say. You know, I think you understand what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying. We just disagree, and it happens. C'est la vie.
If I'm gonna be completely honest about my conversation with Ja-Mes, I'll admit our conversation was nothing more than verbal jousting. It's what goes on in the mainstream media every time the issue of guns is brought up. Two people try to outdo each other in some half-assed attempt to stroke their egos with every contradiction and stump moment. It's this type of gladiatorial linguistic demonstration that people can't get enough of. The entertainment value is incredibly high, but what you get out of it in terms of actual value is questionable. This is what tends to happen when you take someone who is passionate about a stance and have them debate that stance with someone who is just as passionately against it. Each party brings their ego to the table, and no matter what the other person says, there will be a counter. At best, no one walks away a winner and you just agree to disagree. At worst, it blows up. However, sometimes there's a bit of a breakthrough. After everyone goes their separate ways and reflects on the argument without their egos involved, there are small moments of clarity. This was the case with Ja-Mes. I'm not saying she called me up and told me how right I was about everything, but she did tell me that she could see the validity in some of my points, and that she actually wanted to go shoot for the first time. I hope that after you watch Ja-Mes swallow her pride and shoot some guns, that you cut her a little bit of slack.
One of the reasons I wanted to even have this conversation with you, because I knew, one, you won't back down, no matter what, but...
That's not accurate. If I'm wrong, I'll back down.
This conversation is perfect.